So recently I was asked, well, actually, since I've made these videos, I've been asked quite a bit regarding different things to making these lighter cases, the carving fusion epoxy pour lighter cases. So I epoxy pour it and I carve it. This one is molded around the lighter. You'll probably never get that lighter out of there because I pulled the epoxy out of the mold too early. And well, it was just soft, so I just molded it around the lighter. So I don't suggest pulling it out of the mold too early when it's soft. Now, you can use any type of epoxy. This is basically tabletop stuff. You don't need these big things. You can buy the epoxy, like you get part A, part B. You can buy it on Amazon for $10 to $15. These lighter molds, I think you get like 2 for $10 on Amazon. I'll leave a link to these below, and I'll leave a link to some decent epoxy below. I got the bigger stuff because I do bigger epoxy pourings. So if you're an epoxy person, you've used lots of epoxy, this video might not interest you because I'm going to the very basics. Most of my subscribers are wood carvers, not epoxy carvers. So I'm going to explain very thoroughly how I mix A and how I mix B with this measuring cup. These are cups that I got on Amazon too. So you got to read the instructions. Sometimes it's not by volume. Like, so you see here, you see 50. So I'd measure 50, then 100, then mix up that. But I'm going to do 75. Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do. But so by volume, it would be 50 to 100. So 50 of that and 50 of that equal 100. By volume, you have to, no, by the other one, you have to put it on scales and weigh it out like that. But this is not by, this is by volume, I think. Don't get me too confused on that. So you got some micro powders. Now you see this one's kind of like a little bit sparkly. Anytime I've used these ones, these sparkle. This is the, I don't know the name of it, but there's a name, small tongue micro powders. Is that what it says? Anyways, these ones are more like sparkles. These ones are heavier, and I find that when I use these, they sink to the bottom. Now here's some super fine micro powders. Same brand. I bought a box of whole bunch of different colors. So I think I'm going to use the yellow and the turquoise. And this is what you can get when you do different colors, right? This one's kind of like, looks like purple, but that's metallic white. Actually, it's ghost white that I put in there. So yeah, you get different colors, or you can just get like a solid green. Solid colors. But today we're going to mix up a couple different colors. So it's hard to video when I'm pouring the epoxy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour, let's see, I'm going to use 2. See that 2 there? So I'm going to pour half of it 2 and half of it 4. So 2 and 2. 2 and 2. Now, sometimes they suggest to make your epoxy more thinner, let this tub sit in warm water for a bit, and it will make your epoxy not so thick and more like more like water, more liquidy. And that helps get rid of the air bubbles. I'll say one thing right now, I do not use a mold release for these. Each one of these I get about 20 pours and the mold starts sticking to the thing. I tried to fix it, but they're kind of no good about after 20 pours. These are so popular with my friends. I've carved about 40 of these. These are the only 2 I have left because I just give them to my friends. But you can sell them. Sell them on Etsy if you got an Etsy store. I'm telling you right now, like, what could you charge for this? I don't know, $20? Anyways, let's start pouring these molds. Like I said, I'll leave the description, Amazon, to get these molds. So these molds are for your standard Bic lighters, like the rounder ones. All right. So before I start pouring this, I just want to explain something. Because I have two containers here, doesn't mean I'm going to pour 50 in here, then 50 in here, then pour this 50 into that. No, you can't do that because you're going to have stuff left in here. You want to try and measure this stuff as precise as you can measure it. And I definitely suggest to read the instructions for your epoxy, how long of working time you have, like to mix it, how long does it take to cure. Now, one thing about these things too, I want to say, I don't know how much epoxy these things take. It's easy to measure though. You just pour water in here, then you pour the water into your measuring cup, and that's how much epoxy that you mix up. But I'm not going to do that because I want to use these molds, and do not get water in your epoxy. That's just a suggestion. Okay, so for this one, I'm going to go with B first. So you got A and a B. I'm not going to do 50 and 50. I'm going to do 2 and 2. Now let's pull this cap out of here. Sorry, it's probably zooming in and out. So this is kind of tricky to film because my camera's in the overhead and I got to watch the numbers, how much I pour. I use this stuff. I look for the thinner, like the stuff that moves around easier in the container because it's more liquidy than the other one. And if you put the more liquidy one in the bottom of the container, it's easier to mix up. So it doesn't seem as thick. Okay, so just watch your number. Like I said, try to be as precise as you can possibly be. And I wear gloves using this shit because this stuff is sticky stuff. And make sure you put your caps on super tight too, because you don't want, like, this epoxy will last me a couple months, and you don't want air to get in there because then I don't know what it does. It just kind of, more air you get in your epoxy containers, the more bubbles it creates. Okay, so I got that lid off, and I got to sit here and I got to watch. So 2 and 4. So this stuff's thicker. So you got to be real careful. Just watch that 4, or watch the number that you're looking at. Now, for these lighter cases, I'm not really too worried about bubbles. I haven't had any bubble problems with them. That should be good. Yep. So I'll get this lid back on here. And don't feel rushed. That's when I first started working with this stuff, I always felt rushed. And you gotta work quick. But the more rushed you get, the more chances you'll have of screwing up. Kind of, if that makes sense. So you see, it's in there. It's all measured out. 50 or 2 and 2, exactly the same. Now I mix it. Now it's so important to mix this good, because if you don't mix it good and you pour stuff that's not mixed proper in your molds, it will never cure, and it could be tacky, and you could ruin your mold, and you're wasting this epoxy, and epoxy is not cheap. Now I read something from somebody that uses I'm an epoxy group on Facebook. Somebody says that they just go like this, nice and slowly, side to side, spin it. That creates less bubbles. Okay, doing it this way, and then spinning it. Make sure you're scraping. I gotta make sure this is on camera. Make sure you're scraping the walls with the thing. This is just a piece of wood thing. Okay, let's make sure you get the stuff off the bottom. The more you mix this, you're going to create more bubbles. I have I have the gas thing that sucks the air bubbles out of this. I also have a pressure pot, so I can do epoxy pours without any bubbles. But I don't think you should really worry too much about these bubbles with these later cases. Like I said, like there's lots of bubbles in here. I've never had a problem with the bubbles in the cases. Keep scraping that side. Mix it up. Switch the way you're mixing it. Back and forth. I think this way, nice and slowly, is the way to get less bubbles. But just make sure you got it mixed. That's the most important part. 2 important parts with this epoxy. Make sure you measure it perfect, and make sure, 3 important parts. read the instructions. Every brand of epoxy is different. Second part, make sure you mix it perfect, how they suggest you mix it. And fourth part, stir it good. You got to mix these two things together good, or it's not going to cure properly. And then that's when the nightmare begins. Complete waste of time, money, and it creates a mess. See, I'm keep on scraping the walls, turning it. Make sure this hits the bottom and gets in the corners in the bottom. Okay, so you can see all the bubbles in here. There's a ton. It's okay. It's all right. So I'll keep on mixing this a little bit more. There's probably some real epoxy people that do it for a living that are watching this. Are like, man, this guy's a friggin' hack. Well, I don't care. Pull it out your ass. Okay. So now I'm going to use 3 colors. I'm going to try the thicker metal flake ones, but not much. So I got 3 different colors. I got this, it's not yellow, it's called, what is it? Something, something. This, and this one's medium turquoise. So now it's mixed up good. Just take your time, and if you think it's mixed up good, even mix it up more. I'm telling you. Hi, Tim. All right. So get this thing off here. It's good to have a thing to put your things on, like here. I'll use this after, lay this out. Now, how much do you want to use? I think I want most turquoise. So I'm going to pour some of this into the other container. It's kind of a waste. I'm wasting this container. I should just have a little paper, one of those wax paper cups from the dollar store, but I don't have any of those here. So then we got this thing, a little cup that I cut off, plastic cup. And then that will be the, not sparkles, but the thicker powder. Actually, put a little bit more in here for the yellow. Now, our micro powders. I use lots. I overdo it, but I don't want to see through that lighter case, okay? Because I've used the powders, so I could see the lighter through the case. Now this, I'm telling you, this is lots. You don't have to use this much. That's too much, but that's okay. Whatever, right? You're having fun. This is not expensive to do. They make great gifts. Now where's the turquoise color? And these gloves are loud. So here's turquoise. Now I'm going to mix them all up. Now you got to mix it good again, because you don't want these colors to be in clumps. This thing's still filming. So make sure you mix up your colors good too. Scrape the bottom, scrape the sides. This one, I'll probably use the least of this. I need another stick thing. Wish I had some thinner ones. You get them from the dollar store, McDonald's, or these. You get the coffee stir sticks. These ones are a little bit big, but so I can tell these more sparkly ones aren't gonna clump up inside here. But make sure you mix it good anyways. Okay. And we'll mix the turquoise. Take your time, mix it up good. So this is the original pot, so I'm going to scrape the sides. You can do any colors you want. And the micro powders, you can get them super cheap on Amazon, or I don't know. I wouldn't suggest buying them at the dollar store if they have them. It seems like everything from the dollar store is just kind of meh. It serves its purpose though. Okay, so there's that. They're all mixed up. Let's mix up some more of this yellow. Now, here's this bag. This is like a kind of like a rubbery plastic bag I got when I bought a mold. They sent the mold in this. There's a cap for this. You know, you kind of gotta hurry, but you don't need to rush. This still filming? Perfect. So we got 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now I should get a. Actually, you know what? I'm going to get rid of this and get something more solid because you don't want them to fall over. Stand by. Okay, so I got a styrofoam board here that's shiny on one side. So how do you want your colors to go in here? There's so many. Like you, we'll pour the turquoise one in first. So this is what I do, and this will help you. I hold it way high up, and then it will release some bubbles too because the trail of the epoxy is so thin here. If you hold it up higher and let it go in there nice and slowly. Okay, so there's that one. Now I can see it down one side. Let's put some yellow here. Or whatever this color is. Yeah, and I know this is totally like kind of hack style for epoxy people, but hey, I get shit done. And like I said, my friends love them. And the good thing about these too is when you're carving them, it doesn't create that big of a mess because you're using such a fine bit. Right? Okay, so there's that. Try and keep everything on your tray. We'll pour some more green in there. Okay, so that's pretty good. So let's start this one off with yellow. I don't think I mixed up enough to do all 4. Maybe I did. They say to just pour it on one side and let it work its way around. Can you guys see that? I don't know if you can see on the camera. So is that one, and might as well jump over this one too. People are epoxy pros are probably like, that's not how you friggin' do it. Ah, shut up. Okay. So, yeah, I think we have enough. We'll probably have extra. So now you can pour it and let it really drain down inside there to make it a solid color. Now these sparkle ones, the red and yellow, not sparkles, but they're just thicker epoxy. Now I'm going to pour these. Yeah, I'm going to pour these right here. Now I'm not going to guarantee it, but I'll say that let's pour them all the way around so they get all in there. I'm going to say that the lighter, they're going to be at the tip of the lighter, like where the flame is, because like I said, they sink. So I don't want to use that much of those. Now this one had the green. So I can see there's a straight line down in here, so it's solid. Now we'll put some yellow in here. You're just having fun, right? You guys can even see me pouring it. All right, does that one have green in it? Maybe these colors will look like shit. I don't know. And to tell you the truth, it's not a big deal. Because you carve it, and then once you carve it, if you don't like the colors, just friggin' paint it. All right, so let's see if we can get some more of these. sparkles into this. There we go. There's Heavy Hands, just a big slob. So they suggest don't scrape the original. I know this stuff in here has been mixed up good, but they suggest don't scrape the edges of the original mixing container because some of it might not be mixed up properly. So we got some green here. Oh, it's going to be a close measurement. Let's just top her off with the green. See that bubble come out of there? Perfect. That's what you want to see. Bubble. Boom. Perfect. Okay, we got a little bit of yellow left in this one. Man, perfect measurement for these four. Okay, so they're there, they're full. So all I do is I just kind of squeeze them a bit. Might help to get rid of some extra bubbles. Get rid of that. And it will blend the colors together good too, if you want, if you're going for that. All right, they look like they can be topped up just a little bit. We just have some extra yellow here. Not a big deal if they overflow. It's better if they overflow than not having enough. So that's it. Now you just wait till tomorrow, wait till they're dry. This stuff cures pretty quick, so you know, you can see there's really none left over. I measured it, but luckily, just look at the draw, I measured it perfect. But I always have an extra, if I pour too much, I always have an extra something around to pour it into. So this would be an owl. It's good to have even maybe some little skull molds or whatever. Dice molds. They make molds for all types of things. Lots of molds on that Temu site too that you can get pretty cheap. I think learning the epoxy with the molds is good because, well, you're learning with the molds. Then you can finally carve your own stuff. And I just carved a soap dish. I don't like it, but I made my own mold, then I epoxy poured it. But I just did it to see if I could do it. And yeah, I could do it. It worked out. The carving just wasn't the best. I should have done a better carving, but I started with a shitty piece of wood. So that's that. Now let's see how they look in the morning. Actually, you know what? Let's just do a little test here. These sparkles, let's just sprinkle a little bit on this bottom of this yellow one to see if they sink in there. Just kind of mix them up though, because it'll just be air in there, but see how far they sink down. Maybe they won't. Different browns are, you know, some are heavier, some are lighter, I guess. I'm not too sure. Just about having a good time and expanding your artistic boundaries. A little bit extra full, that's okay because some of them might shoot out some bubbles. If the air releases, then it's going to take epoxy, and then that's when they'll sink in. But I think we're okay. It is now the next day. These are pretty well hard. This is the extra little bit of epoxy I had. I poured it in this owl. So, anyways, let's pull these molds off these epoxy lighter cases and see how they look. I think, which one is the one where I poured the sparkly stuff on there? I think this is it. So we'll open this one up next. Or maybe this one is it. So sometimes it's a little bit of a struggle to gotta kind of pull it back, get your finger in there. Boom. And then just pop it out. Boom. So that's what we got. That's pretty neat colors. Now, when you do the, I don't know if you guys can see those glittery sparkles in there. When you do the carving, you kind of don't see them, but you can see them if you sand it really good. I just sand it with a Scotch-Brite wheel and then give it a clear coat if you want. So there's that one. I think that doesn't even need to be carved and it looks cool just like that. Now let's try this one. It's still not 100% cure. If it was 100% cure, this would just snap off this piece here, but we got it off there. Boom. Pop. There's two. This mold has a little bit of a weird deficiency in it, but it's a little bump there, but that's all right. I'll get these other two done. Also, so when you get these molds out, you gotta make sure it's clean. Then all I do is just put my finger in there, kind of just go like this, and then pull it back over the finger. I know it probably looks kind of funny, but that's the easiest way I found to do it. Pull your finger out, and then just pull this back over. And there's your mold again. So here is all the cases done. Like these things, the harder the epoxy is, these things will just break off. Now, I think I'm going to carve one of these that has that the gold, the red glitter stuff in there. I don't know if you can see it on camera. But yeah, let's carve this one here. Pull the other ones aside. What I do first, you guys can carve whatever you want to do, but I like to carve the wood spirits on them. You guys can carve flowers, a friggin' dolphin if you want. You can carve killer whales. You can carve a lion. You can carve a bear. You can carve trees. You can carve moose. You can carve elk. You can carve deer. I'm going to carve wood spirit on here and then just do some lines. So your wood spirit face, the nose. Boom, boom. Boom. Forehead. Boom, boom. Mustache, kind of bring the mustache down the side like this. Down the side like that. You have your... Now you have to be super careful you do not carve too deep on this because you will cut through it. Now if you do, because you can see you only got that much depth there. Now if you do cut through it, it's okay. Just carve deeper and make it a negative space. Then, you know, get a black lighter, put a black lighter in there, and then the black will be a different color than the lighter. Or an orange lighter, whatever you want to do. So I use diamond burrs. Let me find the proper burr that I use to carve this. Well, here's a diamond burr. This one's super fine, but these diamond burrs come in different grits too. So you can get like 80 grits, 60 grit. Well, you can't. I don't know if you can get 60, but 80 grits the most aggressive. Then they get finer. So let me find the one that I normally use, and I'll be back. Yeah, stand by. Now here's a diamond burr set I got off Amazon. I think it was like $8 or $10, but the price is going up. Oh, everything's going up. Now here's a little football shaped one I like to use. Also, I normally use my micro carver. It spins a lot faster than the Dremel. But in this video, I'm going to carve this with the Dremel to show you that you can carve it with the Dremel in a little diamond burr. So let me get the Dremel hooked up. So any Dremel will work. I suggest to get yourself a Dremel flex shaft because it's like holding a pen in carving. I got the diamond burr in there. It's kind of... Now you see how I'm carving this and it's kind of sticking there like that? Do you know what? It's because this hasn't cured properly. It's not cured enough. I can see it's a little bit soft. Like, look, I can bend it in. So it will take shape again. But I'm going to probably give these another day to cure properly. And then you won't get that sticky stuff in there like the residue. When you're carving, it will just be like carving plastic. So I have to wait till tomorrow to finish this video. All right, so it's officially 2 weeks from when I first started carving this, well, pouring it and carving it. And sometimes real things get in the way, life and work and everything. So real people things, I call it. So we still got that diamond burr on here. Let's keep on carving and I'll show you how much easier it carves once this stuff's properly cured. Now this one, since I was having a problem because it wasn't cured enough, I carved pretty deep in the eyes here, and it might this bit might go right through. That's okay because then you just carve it right through so the eyes look good, and then when they put their lighter in there, they can put a black, a orange, a red, a pink lighter, any color they want those eyes to be. See how much nicer it carves now? It's like a dust. So I'm not going to wear my mask right now because I'm making this video, but all this dust is going to get sucked down here. But make sure you wear your dust mask. Bottom lip. Okay, so you guys don't need me to carve this whole thing on video, but what I do on the bottom, because when you put your lighter in here, it's got air, so it's hard to push your lighter down with the air build up in here. It can't release when you're putting your lighter in. So I just put my initial on the bottom here like this. J, that's how I sign my pieces. Then I put a hole right through. Okay, so now when you push your lighter in, the air has a chance to escape through this hole. And also, when you get your lighter in, sometimes it's hard to get the lighter out. So you can put a little burr thing in here, or whoever gets this lighter case could put a burr thing in that hole and then push the lighter out that way. Okay, so I'll get this done carved. Okay, so this is what I got so far. It's just this camera. I saved the eyes. I didn't cut through. There you can see a hole in the bottom. Push your piece out, let the air out when you're putting your lighter in. But look at all the neat. I think I must have poured some red in there or something too. I forget. Oh, that's the red sparkles stuff, I think. So yeah, just what I sand it with is this is Scotch-Brite. I showed it, and on a sanding mandrel. And do not turn your Dremels up fast, full speed when you're doing this. Mine was at like 3/4 speeds. I do it really quick. The longer that you use this, the more your Dremel heats up, and you can really fry your Dremels. Trust me, I've fried a few of them. So I don't know if there's enough in here, but I have this satin clear Rust-Oleum. This is what I spray them with. You don't have to spray it, but I don't know. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. So there you go. So that's how you can get the color to pop out a bit more. So I'll get this sprayed. Come on. I'll get this sprayed, and then we'll finish the video, put a lighter in it. Okay, everybody, that's going to be it for me. So here you can see, one thing you don't want to do when you're just finished spraying these is drop them on a dusty ground, like I did. There you can see all the different colors in there. Spraying it makes the colors pop a bit more. If you want the colors to really pop, is it's not much, is pour epoxy over top of it, but make sure you don't get it inside here. Oh yeah, I got to fit the lighter inside here. Well, I didn't do one, I did two. This is just quick carving on the back. The face takes a little bit of time. So there you can see the original one that's not carved, the ones that are carved. So they make wicked gifts, awesome gifts. Let me get that lighter and put my camera in the overhead. Okay, so here's just a normal Bic lighter. It has the plastic casing on it with this picture stuff. You could just peel that stuff off. But so sometimes the lighters don't fit in there very good. They're kind of loose. I just get some tape and wrap a couple things of tape around there, and it will make the lighter a bit wider and it'll fit better inside there. But there you go. There's a Bic lighter case. So like, I don't know, $15 for epoxy. You'll probably make like 10 of these cases. Then the case molds themselves for like what, $10? You get 2 of them. So there's good gifts, or you can sell these for 20 or $25 each. I don't know. I just like doing them because you know, the deeper that you carve in here, the deeper you can get colors to pop. That's it. Don't know what else to say besides Carbon Fusion. Over and out. And don't shit your pants. Nope, don't want to do that.